And then Tuesday, I got the call from Lisa Marie. She said, you know, screaming on the phone, "My daddy's dead, my daddy's dead."
In this 2019 interview, Elvis Presley's former girlfriend, Linda Thompson, describes where she was when she heard the news that Elvis had died.
I was at my apartment in Los Angeles, and Elvis had actually come and spent some time with me there in the past. And it was still, the memory is so surreal because Lisa Marie would call me from time to time. She was only 9 years old, but we really shared a connection as well. I love little kids, so I adored her. I just thought she was, you know, the sweetest little thing and funny. So she would call me from time to time and just say, "Hey, it's Lisa, I'm playing, I'm in the golf cart, and blah, blah, blah." You know, and she would just be really excited and letting me know what she was doing. And this time, you know, her voice had that same intensity. She said, "Linda." I said, "Hey, honey." She said, "It's Lisa." I said, "I know who you are, you little goober nickel." And she said, "My daddy's dead, my daddy's dead." And I just, it was stunning to me. I just, no, he's not. She said, "Yes, he is. They just told me my daddy's dead." And I said, no, honey, I'm sure he's not. I'm sure he just, maybe, are you sure he's just not sick? Remember the time I had to call and take him to the hospital because his breathing wasn't right? Remember, maybe he just he's a little bit sick? No, he's dead. They told me he's dead. Nobody knows, but they told me he's dead. And she said he's smothered in the carpet. And I just threw the phone across the room. And I was just saying, no, because when she said that, I thought, that's it, he's gone. And I have chill bumps even thinking about it now. And I threw the phone across the room because I couldn't even bear to think it. And then, you know, my reasoning came back to me, and I thought, there's this little 9-year-old girl who had the presence of mind to pick up the phone and call me. So I reached for the phone and had to say what I could say to Lisa to comfort her, you know. But, I mean, to this day, I still get emotional thinking about it, you know. It was a terrible time. And he, in fact, had passed away. And my brother had gone to get Lisa to bring her back to LA because Elvis was going on tour. And my brother, Sam, picked up the phone and said, "Linda, you need to come back to Memphis." I said, "Sam, just tell me he's not dead, right? He's in the hospital, he's not." And he said, "You need to come back home. He's gone." It was just like the world stood still. I mean, how many of you remember that day and where you were? It's like, you know, I think those of us who loved him, everybody remembers that day. They remember when President Kennedy was shot. They remember those moments in history when there was a tremendous loss to all of us, you know. So my brother said, you gotta come back. And so I, you know, made my way back to Memphis, and, you know, life was never the same. I remember, in fact, watching TV, watching the news, and of course it was all over the news and all over every newspaper, and the news account would start off, "Today, Elvis Presley died at his Graceland mansion in Memphis, Tennessee," and they would, you know, talk about that, and then they would go on to something else that had happened in the world, and I would go, no, there is nothing else. That's all there is. Elvis died. You know, I couldn't imagine that anything else was newsworthy. And that's how I responded in my grief. It's just like, there's nothing else. That's all there is. You know, Elvis is gone.
The world changed. The world changed that day.
My world changed, for sure.
Yeah.
Looking back on her time with Elvis, Linda describes the best gift Elvis ever gave her.
What's the best gift he ever gave you? And I'm sure they were thinking about jewelry, furs, you know, cars, whatever, house. I said, his love. That the greatest gift that he gave me was his love. And I still feel that to this day. I still feel honored and fortified and comforted with his love, knowing that he loved me purely, and more than that, his knowledge that I loved him very purely. It meant the world to me when he passed away, knowing that on his last thought of me would have to be one, she really loved me. He knew I loved him without any other, you know, ulterior motive, without any agenda. I loved him so purely and so deeply, and I know that he knew that, and that was the greatest gift, to know that he passed away knowing feeling confident in my love for him without any agenda. But as far as lessons that I learned, you know, he was a walking example of generosity and kindness and goodness and love. He was flawed. I'm not, you know, he was not a saint, you know, he was not monogamous. He had a prescription drug problem, but he was the embodiment of Santa Claus. You know, he derived more joy from giving than receiving, truly. And he was generous of spirit and his time and energy as well. I think one of the biggest lessons that he taught me is that we all have a responsibility to life. We have a responsibility to ourselves to dig deep and see what our gifts are, because God gives everybody a gift. It could just be, you know, making a sandwich for someone better than anybody else can make a sandwich, or it could be writing a poem or a song, or it could be being a nurse or a doctor. Whatever your gift is, you know, discover your own inner gift, your own inner quality, and just give that freely to the people around you, because we all have a responsibility to each other, to love each other, to stand together, to know that there is a common thread that runs through all of us. We are all human beings, and we're all connected in this time. And you know, those are the ways that he thought. And he really taught me to be more introspective and to not only reach in, but to reach out to other people. And that was a wonderful legacy that he left behind.
Regarding the 2022 Elvis movie, any significant relationship that Elvis had after his divorce from Priscilla, including with Linda, was left out of the film. Linda addressed this during Elvis Week 2023. Quote, "I know what I meant to Elvis. I know what he meant to me," Linda said, "and that's the most important aspect of viewing any film or reading any book." "I didn't see the film," Linda revealed. "I lived it and I know what the truth is in its fullness, so I don't need to see the films and I don't need to read the books. I know my truth and what we meant to each other." Unquote. Watch more of Linda's candid interview on this special playlist on my YouTube channel, and read more in Linda's 2016 memoir, A Little Thing Called Life. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like this video to help this channel grow. For more fascinating facts about Elvis, pick up one of Trina Young's 4 Elvis books, including her latest, Fact vs. Fiction in the 2022 Elvis Movie. Read a free excerpt at elvisbiography.net. Please subscribe to this channel and ring the bell for notifications of future videos. Continue to watch more videos about Linda Thompson and Elvis here.